Yeah, it's.
This one wasn't up.
Oh.
You guys have not been talking for the last.
Oh my. Check. Can you check if can you see on the thing? Let me see.
I'll tell you right now.
Please let me know, guys. Those who are listening in.
This is the Darkened Hour.
Yeah, this is the Dark Hour. Apparently, we've been talking very low, and it was just a very little hair of a knob pushed downward, not even a centimeter, and no one can hear us.
Oh,
Apparently.
wow, very sensitive.
Yeah, very much so. So as I said one more time, thank you. This is the Dark Hour. This is your host, Dr. X Nohart, and with me.
Teal above.
Valentinez, Altuina Lazivasi Zerabo Jerez, Gambi Gabella, Blue Stradivari, Talent Pierre, Andre Charlton Hamos, Da Vinci, Baldios, George Deutzel Kaiser III.
All right. So, like I said before, we like to begin the show with how you guys doing, with with how's your week have been. Like I said, my week has been all right, but then it just ended up in a very sour note with this damn movie that we're going to talk about today, which is, of course, have you guys seen our title? It relates to Spider-Man. So, but like I said, why break something that's not broken? So, how have your week has been?
Mine's been same old, same old. Trying to get design work, get some freelance work underneath my belt, getting experience and all that.
All right. Okay. How about you, Mr. Aesop?
Don't know.
I mean, I've seen your new logo. I love it.
Yes, I've seen it too.
Yeah, it's sexy. Oh, with the 13 on the bottom. Aesop. Oof. Tell us more, please. Wow, thank you for letting us know.
Okay, Tina.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so wait, does everyone here watch this show?
Bob's Burgers,
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
Except you.
Am I the only one who thinks this is just cringily bad? Cringily bad.
It's weird because you like BoJack Horseman, but you don't like.
That's not cringe bad. That's just like, I'm an asshole. Fuck you in the face, and I just curse. I'm sorry, but that's when you talk about BoJack, you have to say a curse word in the same sentence. But see, when it comes to Bob's
but
Burger,
so many puns
it's
in
just
BoJack though. I don't know how you can get past the puns. It's amazing that you
I just like in your face. Screw you. Whereas Bob's Burger is more like this is
humor.
cringy. Yeah, it's cringy dry humor.
Because if you watch like The Office, I feel like
He doesn't like The Office.
Okay,
either.
well there you go.
I don't like The Office.
It's a brand of humor.
Yeah, it's cool though. I mean, hey, it is what it is. I mean, I like, you give me Archie's over, like
Archers.
Archers, yeah, Archie. Archer, over, like Bob's
same voice
Burger.
actor. That's
right.
funny.
I mean, look at home movies,
Home
old
yeah,
school,
it's the same voice actor.
right,
Jim
right,
Coach.
yeah. So, good old classic Adult Swim, Sea Lab 2021, and all that good stuff. So, we're off the path a little bit here. We want to talk about Spiderman Homecoming. It came out 2 days ago, and we usually wait a week before we just talk about a movie, but we just don't care at this point because you're not really missing much. You really aren't, unless you want to see a brand new villain, which I think was the best part of this movie, in my opinion. But yeah, why don't we just let's tell those who are listening in what this movie is practically about, what it's centered around, because we've already seen Spider-Man in Civil War, which is technically the third Avengers, the second Captain America movie, and that was his big debut in the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And he just popped in a couple of minutes, drafted by good old Tony Stark, TS. And now we finally see his own movie after the events of Civil War. Mm-hmm. And he is trying his best to be part of the Avengers. And he's trying to be part of the team. Because this entire time he's been doing little miscellaneous stuff. Like, I'm going to help people. I'm going to help a cat from... in the tree. I'm gonna help a little old lady cross the street. That's the kind of stuff that he's been doing ever since until TS came into his doorstep. It's like, hey, internship, come over here. We need you, Pete. We need to use you against Captain America's army. And after that is just like, now what? So that's pretty much the entire movie. It's him trying to find work with Tony Stark because he thinks he's here put on Earth to do something more. Obviously, which is the good old Spider-Man to be. Honestly, I think that this was the worst Spider-Man movie, if we're not counting Spider-Man 3, of course, because Spider-Man 3 never happened. Mm-hmm. Tobey Maguire 3 never happened. Venom never happened. So if you're discounting that movie, this is the worst. I like Amazing Spider-Man 2. I still don't understand why people don't like Amazing Spider-Man 2.
I really don't understand.
I enjoy Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Most of the people who don't like that movie is because they're still dealing with one, nostalgia. So they don't like the remake, and two, they're like fanboying for Tobey Maguire. When for no reason. I don't know why.
Yeah,
the
he wasn't a great Spider-Man. He was a great Peter Parker.
Who?
Tobey Maguire.
Yeah, exactly. I agree with that.
Andrew Garfield was the solid Spider-Man that we've been waiting for. He just was lacking Peter Parker based on personal.
Cool. He was way too cool.
They already wrote him. Was a little too cool.
But see, my thing, I think that there's nothing that Andrew Garfield could not have done that this guy did in this movie. And
this kid, yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. And, people say, they needed a brand new actor. No doubt, because, when you're putting in with the devil, which is Disney, you have to have, it's a brand new contract. There's a brand new, you have to have a brand new, this is the Peter Parker in the MCU. Everyone else before him was not part of the MCU. So that on that logistical, business-wise, I understand. But didn't Andrew Garfield at one point wanted to be part of this? I'm sure who
wouldn't?
Right, exactly. Yeah. So I honestly think this was like the worst in my opinion. I mean, I know you guys have your own grievances, so let me know. I have my own. I'll keep it to the end.
Okay.
Let's start with you,
okay.
LaBeouf, because you said there's differences. I'm guessing you liked it.
I liked it, and I had reasons that kind of like turned me off. And it was the beginning part, the relationship between Tony Stark and Peter Parker was. I found it incredibly obnoxious because I'm thinking, okay, you recruited Peter Parker when he was convenient to fight these metahumans. It was all good dandy. Now he wants, hey, aren't I really a part of this? Nah, go back to New York. You can't introduce a kid to that kind of lifestyle and then expect him to go back and save cats from trees and help Elias cross the street. Like that was so odd that Tony couldn't understand this kid is a kid. Like he could have sent him with a team, like sent someone there to guide him in his name and whatnot. But you gave him this amazing suit and you thought he wasn't gonna test the limits. You thought he wasn't gonna go above and beyond. I thought that was really. And they treat him like, I get he's a kid, but oh my gosh, they did not let us forget that he was a child. Super immature, terrible mistakes, putting people's lives in danger, especially on a boat. I'm just like, oh no, Spidey, what you doing? Like, boy. And I didn't appreciate, like, at first it was fine. They keep on, yeah, you're a kid, but they kept laying all too thick for me. Like, I didn't particularly care for that. What I did like, obviously the villain was legitimately terrifying, but anyone would be terrifying next to this particular Spider-Man because he wasn't intimidating whatsoever because he's a kid. So right. The Vulture as Michael Keaton,
amazing.
Like I was legitimately intimidated by him. I thought
definitely the Birdman all the way through ever since his Birdman debut, right?
I gotta watch that movie.
Amazing.
It was good, right? Oh man,
and it had to do with superheroes. I mean, it had everything to do with superheroes. It
was like
but
psychological, right?
Yeah, absolutely. He was playing himself technically, but
yeah, that was my general. But overall, as a film, I thought it was a little too long for what they were trying to do. It went on a little longer than I'd cared to. I thought it could have shaved off 15, 20 minutes off. It was just like, meh. And the relationship between his friend and him annoyed me a little bit.
Oh, my goodness.
His friend, okay, it was cute for a little bit, but when Ned blew his spot up in the gym class,
yeah.
I'm just like, are you serious right now? Come on, he just told you to chill, right? He told you to chill, you didn't. I'm surprised their relationship didn't go through anything. It was just beginning the same and it ended the same.
See, I consider that what's his name? Ted, I believe was his name.
I think it was Ned.
Ned.
I'm just like
I think he was just there to add another layer to Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was
make him seem like a regular kid. Yeah.
The guy in the chair.
The guy in the chair, and he literally says it himself.
We've seen this in the Flash series. We've seen this in Arrow series. There's people there who have to be in the chair to help them out with to be literally that little voice in their ear
to keep them on track. And I'm surprised the relationship didn't go through any turbulence.
Yeah.
Due to the fact that Spider-Man was just disappearing left and right, and left his friends at the decathlon, stood the girl up at homecoming prom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? Like, they should seriously dislike him, but the daughter was going through her own thing, so she wasn't worried about him, so that was just luck. Him and his friend should have beefed a little bit.
Right.
He put him on a spot hard body. Oh, Peter knows Spider-Man. Silence. I'm like, this.
Excuse me? Yeah.
Excuse me? Like, and then leaving his friend at the party to go run after the guy Vulture and his crew with the weapons.
Yeah.
Doesn't say anything to Aunt May, just magically ends up back into the apartment. And it's weird that Aunt May didn't stop him sooner.
Yeah.
It took her a long time to the end of the movie to really even say anything. Like, this kid's like 15. Imagine your little brother running around the streets. You know what I mean? Coming back.
He wouldn't tell me. I mean, he might because he might. you know, because it can go either way with me. Like, oh, that is cool as hell, and it's like,
Boy.
it's like, okay, we have to do things to make you continue doing what you do,
Yeah.
or I'm just gonna stop you on the spot. You
Yeah,
know,
like
it
Tony-
can go both ways. Yeah.
Yeah, Tony just didn't give him enough guidance. I know that's not really his shtick, the father figure
not the
type.
father figure,
He's
yeah.
not. So he should have like given him some type of guidance, some type of, because he gave him that cryptic response. Do something I wouldn't do. Definitely don't do what I would do.
It's a little gray area in the middle there.
I'm
right?
just the gray element. That's where you operate at.
So okay, so in
What?
in this movie, like, you know, it's all about, again, Peter Parker trying to find, you know, his not to find
His
where
bearings.
he fits. He just wants to be accepted, pretty much.
Yeah.
He just got a taste of the apple, and he wants more of it. You know, and this entire movie technically is him trying to, you know, show everybody else, like, hey, I can be like you guys. You know, so then that's the whole point of honestly, that's the whole point of the movie. While
Right.
trying to keep his, also he has his morality, and you know, in front of his urge, of his want. You know.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah, that was my biggest gripe. So what I liked to get past the negative part, what I did like was that Spider-Man was wholly likable. You understood him. He was relatable. The story itself, the villains, obviously we talked about before, amazing. The threat was real. The effects were nice. The suit was great. And we saw a little sneak peek of another suit towards the end.
yeah,
Cute.
Yeah.
Cute. Very cute. But otherwise, this was like a very satisfying,
Something
kind
not
of almost
Mitch, yeah.
empty calorie kind of satisfying.
okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay,
I'm like,
can
okay,
agree with that.
well, moving on.
All right.
That's how I felt like after Spider. I was like, this was enjoyable. Don't get me wrong. Me and my boyfriend watched it, and it was amazing. We were entertained.
yeah.
Those little things were just like, yo, why you getting on my man Spidey like that? Like, why you talking to him like that? The guy Happy kept ignoring him, ignoring all his text messages, leaving him on red.
Yeah.
That was rude.
can't.
I was like, why could we be rude to him? Just give him something to do. All Spider-Mans want something to do. Give him little stuff to do in the city, and he'll leave you alone. But you just left him, just
I mean, but honestly, I think not even that
Yeah.
would keep him satisfied, because
Yeah.
Spider-Man isn't
He was
stupid.
looking
Peter
for
wasn't
big,
stupid.
big,
yeah.
big, big,
Pedro
big, big,
wasn't
big.
dumb.
Pedro. I was dying when he called him Pedro.
And like, people were like, oh, what would you? I mean, that's his name. It's his Spanish name. It's the translation of Pedro. It's Peter. It's the same thing.
It is. I thought that was
So
funny.
he wasn't technically wrong. he kept
He was
calling
pretty
Pedro.
much right. He just said it in another language.
Right.
I thought it was
So-
funny.
Okay, so, all right. I mean, we have our little rating system here. We're gonna get there
Oh,
at
yeah.
one point. Oh my goodness. But
ASAP.
Asa, what do you?
What do you think?
I want to hear your side of the story first, Josh.
Oh,
Mine.
because he really wants to wait towards the end.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so months ago when we first saw this
Yeah.
trailer, right? People were going crazy.
Mhm.
I was just like, I don't like it, and people asked me why. It's because, well, I'm not a big Marvel buff, but I do read Marvel comics, those that interest me, like Spider-Man. You know, I'm not an old timer, but I know enough. Spider-Man, and this is more a pride thing. Spider-Man would never be this helpless. Now, this guy, okay, so this entire movie, and this is the biggest thing and my biggest gripe, is he was trying to find acceptance from these other individuals. That's not Spider-Man. Not even remotely. Spider-Man should have been discovered by Iron Man and everybody else after he had made a name for himself, a force to be reckoned with, not some high school punk, right? Who just doesn't know which way his underwear should be placed on his. I just don't. Okay, so now this is my knowledge stemming back from old school animated cartoon Spider-Man when I was a kid. That's where I grew up with. He was a college student, and a college student who was more intelligent than most of the teachers there. You know, but this wasn't the case. This was a sophomore in high school. You know, still had to be driven around by his Aunt May. He was dealing. Oh my God! It was a high school musical without the music type of teen thing, like Archie. I was dealing with high school drama shit that I did not care about, and I slipped one out again because I was so passionate about it because I was watching this movie
understand.
and I enjoyed it for what it was.
Exactly.
It was a good movie, you know. But I just. The more I saw something in this movie, I was like, I want to see Andrew again, though. You know, I want to see him again. Hell, I wanted to see Toby back. Like, are you kidding me? Like, this guy was, I just didn't see Spider-Man in him. People are, okay, he's cool because he's younger. No. My perfect Spider-Man would have been Andrew Garfield. First, again, comes down to pride. He shouldn't have been so
Needy.
this helpless puppy next to Tony Stark. Of all people, mind you. What else? The villain was great. Michael Keaton, you just can't get enough of him. I think that was the best part of this movie. I think that if you want to see a brand new villain, sure, wonderful. The fight scenes, spectacular, by all means, great. Michael Keaton's Vulture was horrifying. There were scenes in this movie that was just completely horrifying to me. I was like, wow, that's pretty scary. I saw this in the sky. Mm-hmm. I would probably take my chances with Batman in a dark alley, mind you. So, also, they paid a tribute to the first Spider-Man, second Spider-Man, mind you, with Tobey Maguire with the whole ship thing and the train. Mm-hmm. You know, they paid homage to that, obviously, because to this day, it's still one of the best Spider-Man movies ever made, in my opinion. And there's a lot of people out there who would agree. I honestly thought that scene would have been a little more fleshed out, but it ended pretty quickly. Because here comes Iron Man to save the day.
Right.
And quite frankly, Peter Parker, Spider-Man, did all he could in that scene to protect these individuals in that ship. You know, it wasn't his fault. It wasn't his fault that things went to hell. In fact, I blame it all on Iron Man. He was trying to contact them, like, well, then I guess everything has to be done in my own hands. Because obviously Peter Parker, the Spider-Man, Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, will not let that go on. He will try even if his life depended on it. So, and then you have Mr. Happy?
I guess it's called that. That's his name, Happy.
I know we've seen him many times in the Iron Man movies. I'm glad he's back because he was been a no-show for a while, I believe. He was just completely obnoxious.
He was kind of a jerk, right?
Extremely obnoxious. And then I'm like, all right, well, they're gonna treat him this, and then later on, toward the end, they're gonna be like, oh, well, I was wrong about you. It was cliche. It was very predictable and everything. Hell, I even called the fact that Vulture was this woman's father.
I legitimately was surprised by that.
It was like, okay, well, okay, I saw that coming. What I do like about it is that there is no origin story. Why would you need an origin story when you've seen it twice already? That I was fine. What I don't like is the omission of Gwen Stacy. They just jumped straight to MJ, who she was, which was the coolest female in this in his class was MJ. But yeah, so that's my gripe in this movie. Is this entire movie was based on Peter Parker's helplessness and his cute little puppy dog act, and that's the whole reason why I just did not like this movie. That's not Spider-Man. That's not the Spider-Man I grew up with. And I just can't. I cannot say that I was satisfied because I wasn't satisfied. Not remotely. I wasn't satisfied, not at all. I'd rather go watch Transformers to be like, okay, because at least when I was going into, and it's funny because in a quirky version, I got what I was expecting out of this movie, right? But because of that, it wasn't a good movie. It wasn't that of a good movie. But yet, Rotten Tomatoes and everyone around they're just saying that, wow, this is the best Spider-Man movie ever created. This was the epitome of a Spider-Man movie. They got it wrong the first two times. Now the third time, boom. What I do want to happen, which I mentioned before, is later on, I want them to revamp the casting, do another reboot of Spider-Man with Miles Morales this time. Give me a black Spider-Man. But upon doing so, give me a dimensional shift where now you can get Tobey Maguire, Gwen,
Andrew
Garfield in this one into this one movie, which will be, I think, phenomenal to have a miniature Spideyverse, if you will, very dimensional type of thing going on. So if they do that, then I'll probably bump this movie up a little higher on the score. But it's just never gonna happen, never at all. So that's I'm getting tired of Tony Stark. Completely. I am getting absolutely tired of Tony Stark because he wasn't even likable in this movie. Because at the very end, there's a certain charm for Tony Stark. And this one, he was just obnoxious because at the very end, Tony didn't care for him. He just used them for Civil War. And then in this one was like, well, since you helped him, here's a suit. That's another thing. I'm sorry. What? The suit was given by Tony Stark. No, everything that no. See, Peter Parker should be his own man. Shouldn't be propelled by someone else. Yeah, we saw in Civil War, an actual Civil War comic book. That's cool, but that's way after the fact that Spider-Man made a name for himself. It was just Iron Man came along, adding something more, propelling something more that was already there, not starting his foundation up and like, all right, this is who you are now. He was trying to control everything that Spider-Man was, where he went, everything that, you know, it wasn't. No, it was just a big no. And then but yeah, so that's my thing. I just no, I cannot. Hopefully if they do another second part to this movie, I just hope that. I'm guessing it'll be better because at the end of the movie he grew some balls. So he was like, nope, I'm good. Peace out, Tony. Oh, that was the whole point. I was talking about Tony Stark and his obnoxious character. At the very end, when he was saying, hey, here's your brand new suit. You did pretty good, kid. I'm happy for you. And Peter Parker was like, nope, I'm gone. He lied to him. Was like, well, that was a test. Yeah, it was a test. Peace out, guy. And like there was actual press people on the other side of the wall waiting for him. It was Tony Stark was like, all right, well, we didn't need you, but now I know that you're a lot more useful. I'm gonna take you in now. It's not working for me. This Tony Stark, it's over. We need to stop, please. Like, no, I'm so tired of Tony Stark. It just made this movie that much more worse for me. So that's my stand on this movie. Complete. Like, I just cannot stand this movie. And it's getting a lot worse the more I talk about it.
Dang.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna have gripes, but I didn't realize you were gonna like despise it.
No.
Wow.
Give me Christian Bale's voice a lot more than this damn movie. I'm sorry.
I need that on a soundbite. I need that recorded.
I just can't.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
The floor is all yours, A-Sub.
Okay. So right out the gate, a lot of agreeings on the Tony Stark thing. He was far too. Like we said when the trailers came out, that we were afraid that he was going to steal the movie, which he kind of did.
Oh, wait. Whoa, that's surprising.
He shouldn't have been involved at all, in my opinion. Like a cameo here and there, like maybe like the boat saving thing, because logically there was nothing that Peter could have done in that situation. So him showing in and giving him a little scolding, but not because he tried to save the people on the boat, a scolding because he broke the protocol that was in the suit. Maybe he should have scolded him about that. But yeah, my biggest gripe was the suit given to Peter is kind of annoying. I like that how it was explained he was given a better suit where it's not just a hoodie and some goggles. It was an actual Spider-Man suit, which I'm okay with, because you can't expect a high school kid to actually kind of do that kind of sewing and put that together anyway, you know. But I don't like the fact that it had its own version of
Batman's
Jarvis.
detective.
No, stop. It had its own version of Jarvis in it, where he had the guiding system and all that. If Tony was going to give him an advanced suit, the extra resistance behind it, you know, so he can, you know, granted, because his body has been mutated where it has the resistance of a spider, where under his skin should have the stretchy endoskeleton like a spider, where it can bend in shape, which is why when things fall on Peter Parker, he doesn't get killed. He pretty much can flex his way out of it, which is why it doesn't just get straight to his bones, because like a spider, he has the endoskeleton. So a suit should have been made in a similar fashion, where it's almost like Saiyan armor, where inside it can stretch, but the outside cannot push it in as well. I don't like the guiding system, or when he broke the baby training wheels protocol, it had all this Iron Man suit capabilities. This isn't an Iron Spider. This is supposed to be a regular suit. It should have just been like maybe enhanced web shooters, the Batman belt, if you will, because Peter Parker has had that, or Spider-Man, I should say, did have that. So, and the gliding system under the arms, Peter Parker did have that, so that should have been included. But none of the guidance systems, none of the rapid fire, instant kill mode, like all that high tech stuff that was added to the suit should not have been there. And because of all that high tech stuff is what made Tony Stark so important in this movie. Yes, him wanting to be Avengers is paying homage to some of the latest comics and some of the cartoons that hit the picture, hit the scene. That's why they're doing the high school thing, because that's more relevant and it shows an actual growing character. Him being in college as well. Look at it, Tobey Maguire. It was annoying. You know, if you're a superhero, especially when you have a happy character like Spider-Man, you should enjoy being a superhero. You shouldn't always be depressed. Everybody can't be Batman, where their entire suit is just a problem and just, you know, depression. No one wants to be that. It's actually a turnoff. So him having the goofy high school life was actually important, because it shows him that he actually enjoys what he does. Now, it was annoying on the other spectrum because he enjoys being a hero. He wants to prove himself to the Avengers so he can actually, stand tall and actually kind of make his Aunt May proud and honor Uncle Ben's dying words, great power comes great responsibility. So he was trying to be responsible, but at the same time, he's still a kid. And with those responsibilities with the powers, he was pretty much giving up his future as a student because he saw he could do much more in the world. Now, his high school friend obviously can't see that, and that's how actual high schoolers are. They're dumb. I know somebody who I work with who's 28 and does the same stupid thing. So his friend being borderline retarded, honestly, was a realistic thing. Kids do goofy things, especially someone like 15, 16, whatever age they are. That was generally fitting. Him blowing his spot in the gymnasium was logical because they're both goofy nerds who are socially awkward. So his outburst was expected. Granted, worst time, worst place, but those things can happen in real life. We all know people who just do impulsive things. Now, what I wasn't too happy about when it comes to Happy being there, his contact to Tony Stark being Happy. Yeah, they brought Happy back. We love it and all, but Happy was way too much of an asshole. Way too much. It was irresponsible on Happy's part because he was supposed to be the guidance and watching over Peter. So Peter's calling you for an actual call where we're texting him. He was just giving him his report of the day, which Happy was reading, just not responding. But when he calls you for an actual important situation where we saw it on the news where a grocery store was blown up and he was there, that's something that we should look into, which Tony Stark did look into, where he got the FBI involved. But when you see alien technology involved, this is not some just the FBI. It wasn't even the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was FBI. And them, sent by Tony Stark, them having proper information where they should have known who Spider-Man was, seeing him on the boat, why in the hell would they aim their guns at him? Thus causing the distraction, thus causing Vulture to get an upper hand. Vulture getting up the hand is what caused the radiation on the gem inside the gun, cutting the boat in half. Blah, 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 butterfly effect. Who cares? What else was mentioned? When it comes to the actor himself playing this role, yes. At times he did feel too kiddie, but hey, like I said, it's a lot how some of the later comics were made, and there are a lot of renditions of Peter Parker where he is legit a kid. Excluding the old school cartoons which we grew up with, that was pretty much the Tobey Maguire one, and hell, I honestly couldn't stand that guy after a while when they got too involved in romance and drama where it was not an entertaining show anymore. It was the same problem with X-Men growing up. They got too involved in romance and drama where it's not an entertaining show anymore. It's not for kids anymore. But this Peter Parker felt more like a Miles Morales than he felt like a Peter Parker. He is definitely expressing that kid who wants to explore, which is realistic in his sense, but him still trying to be responsible. It was almost like you were dealing with water and oil at times because his personality had major shifts where I have to be responsible and do my superhero job. Oh, I have to live like a kid. It felt like it was getting confused in the character itself, where I don't know. That's like what Josh was saying, where he was helpless a lot because he spent more time being a confused kid than actually just trying to handle things. But like I said, he's still a kid. What else would you expect? Now, this is me going back and forth on what I liked and what I didn't like. Overall, what I didn't like was his helplessness, the reliability on the suit in Tony Stark, his friend being far too involved too early because, the secret didn't last long enough, obviously, and his terrible Clark Kent escapes, where he's in people's faces and he just walks off the scene and he's going Spider-Man, no one questions it. It's a stupid excuse that all superheroes do. It's unrealistic, but hey, it could have been done better in this movie. We could at least said something instead of just going ghost. But what I did like about the movie is, one, they pay homage to the second comic book that came out with him not having reliable Spidey sense at all because he was getting wrecked with anything flying at him, which is like how it was when he first fought the Vulture in the second comic, where he was getting wrecked. Spider sense wasn't developed yet, so Vulture was a legit problem. You have a grounded hero against somebody who virtually infinitely flies. The design on Vulture was very much a lot to like how he's been in the comics, where he wasn't never really fleshed out at a basic story. I steal stuff to make money for my family. That's it. He's not some major crime boss or anything. He's just a simple I rob banks and I do this. I make money. So they kept it very realistic for a kid to handle. Yes, it's just the Shatari device that they were selling were obviously out of his league. But hey, what are you gonna do? They gotta be relative to the Avengers universe, which is way above Peter Parker's pay grade right now. What I do like is, I'm trying not to just gush over the Vulture's design, but those wings were so delicious. Turbines.
Turbines. That's the word.
It was,
that was
so,
really
and
cool.
me drawing my steampunk angels, I just got inspired by something.
Wow.
I fell in love with those wings. They were perfect. Like, they were absolutely realistic. Because, I mean, I'm glad they didn't go through the whole trouble of explaining how he got the suit and all that. Like, they just had a mad scientist who was operating with the Shatari weapons, because it would have been too much. I do like how they paid homage over all the movies, back to Tobey Maguire, to Andrew Garfield, to Tom Holland. It's in a way, we're getting all 9. Yeah, that's a funny number. All 9 of the Sinister Six. Because Sinister Six has changed. We've got the Rhino, we've gotten the Vulture, we've gotten Dr. Octopus, we've gotten Green Goblin instead of Hobgoblin, but I'll add him to the list. We've got Sandman, we've gotten Venom, we've gotten Electro. The only ones we haven't seen are what's the hunter's dude name? What's the hunter's name? I forget his name. What's it? Craven. All we're missing is Craven and Mysterio.
Wow, they actually covered a lot of ground over the years.
They've been trying to get this Sinister Six going for a while now.
That was gonna be the next Amazing Spider-Man movie, which wasn't gonna happen.
Wasn't gonna happen yet.
Wow.
So overall, yes. The high school life was obnoxious, but that does make it realistic. MJ, obviously the best character in the movie.
She has such good lines.
Them not having Gwen and going straight into MJ is
it's
neither here nor there, because it's not a romance yet. So it really doesn't matter at this point. But her character is like far too broken, because she's stalking Peter, which is hilarious. Like, I'm pretty sure she knows he's Spider-Man.
Oh, do you remember the part when she drew him and just did like
in detention?
Sad face.
Yeah, like
when he was walking into the homecoming and she was like, "Hey," and then she gave him
gave him the finger. I was screaming.
Like Zendaya, she stole that movie. I'm sorry, she was
a scene stealer.
So good. But yeah, basically the best way they could have made it. Vulture's whole storyline was fine. I honestly could have done without Happy. I would have preferred if he had an automatic system where he dealt with Veronica. Since Jarvis isn't there anymore, he dealt with the new automatic system.
Right.
Veronica. He's Happy. Yeah, they brought the actor back, but he was a really unlikable character.
The way they wrote him,
he was so unrealistic. Like, you're supposed to watch him as a kid, you're ignoring everything he's doing. When you forget he's a training superhero,
and he's a kid.
At least listen to him a little bit. And Tony was listening to him, but yet, if you heard that this is Shatari weapons, why didn't you do anything earlier? Why, it was just really weird how he was backgrounding it. So yeah, lack of Tony Stark, lack of Happy. If it was just him with a better suit, him dealing with his problem, and then the cameo with the boat, where Tony, all right, here's homage to Toby, here's cameo with Tony, because there's literally nothing he could have done in that situation, quite honestly. Like, unless he held the boats to the light, like, you literally couldn't have done anything in that. Like, and shave off some of the getting a sandwich at a store, because after that store got blown up, we never saw the owner again. So why would they even bother seeing it? There was some stuff that they could have shaved off, but they wanted to develop this character without an origin story. So a lot of that stuff was necessary, so we see who he is as a Peter Parker without him constantly dipping out on school to fight the Vulture's team. Oh yeah, that's right, the Shocker. I didn't mention him when I was listening to Sinister Six. Shockers, obviously, we had the first Shocker guy who was wearing the yellow and black. He got vaporized, and then they gave it to the black guy. So yeah, we're getting a whole lineup of the Sinister Six, so this is pretty funny. But yeah, overall, like I said, I went into the movie expecting Tony Stark to steal the show, which it kind of did. Even though Tony wasn't always there, the whole Iron Man, Iron Spider idea was too
fast,
too much in your face. It wasn't enough Spider-Man. It was too much Iron Spider. We could have done without Happy. It was cute they threw Gwyneth Paltrow at the end, but nobody liked Pepper Potts, so what the hell ever. I don't know why she was there. They showed, I'm not even sure if that was the Iron Spider suit that was there, because it was black, gold, and red. It wasn't just gold and red.
The symbol was the Iron Spider symbol, but everything was different color.
Everything was different color. Yeah. Okay, because it looked very superior Spider at the same time too.
And all the machines that, like, there's little spiders coming out from his
all the
suit, that was straight from Superior Spider-Man.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was too much gadgets because of Tony Stark. Not enough Spider-Man.
Oh, and one more thing I noticed: did he even have a Spidey sense?
That's another thing.
It wasn't fully developed.
Yeah,
it wasn't even fully. There was nothing there. I would understand if it was
there. It was there. It absolutely was there. It just wasn't as strong. It actually was there.
But there was no mention of it. There was no okay. Now it's it's one thing to say we assume that it was there, because there was no mention of it in the entire movie.
Do they really need to mention a Spidey sense? Like, why would he mention it?
Okay,
unless he was going to play my Spider sense tingling drop. It was just his general mannerisms.
Oh, his
reflexes are he had legitimate reflexes.
I'm sorry. The closest thing that we had as a Spider-Man was the thing in his suit. Was that voice in his suit? That stood in for the Spider sense. I'm sorry. That's like saying Wonder Woman. That's saying that we assume that Wonder Woman had a lasso just because she didn't take it out. There has to be some sort of indication, even if it's extremely minute.
It could have been
There
a little
was
bit more.
indication.
Minute.
How-
There was
maybe I
indication.
missed it, but
Me too.
I must
Maybe-
have missed
I-
it.
Really
I-
did, because there was
I
plenty of
think-
times
Because
where
he
it
had
activated.
sick
Reflexes. Literally, that's the
Which is
spidey sense.
fine,
They
right?
don't have to actually go into depth to explain it. The spidey sense, first of all, is underdeveloped ability even in the comics, because spidey sense isn't necessarily a real thing in reality. Like, spiders don't actually have a spider sense. It's just that they have better perception than humans do. So spider sense is just because they have the multiple eyes and sensory systems. So his spidey sense is literally it's cinematic, like how they did in Tobey Maguire's movie where he saw him virtually seeing the future like Max Payne. They could have done a slowdown scene like that to make it stand out more, but we've already seen him in action. We already know that he has a reflex and responses of any insect, bug, arachnid that exists. That general instant reflex is the behavior of an insect. That's what it's implying. Now the suit doing it for him.
The suit was doing a
The
lot.
suit didn't do that until they broke the protocol, and that was after he got trapped in a truck and left in a factory. So the scenes prior to, he was still using it.
Okay.
I'll accept it.
I'll accept it
Because for the fact that I only watched movie one, I need to watch it again. Maybe I wasn't looking for it. I'm just like,
I know there was again. What he's talking about is the fact of his actions, his mannerisms, his
Should be
his
enough.
reflex should be enough. Which I won't not buy it because, quite frankly, I mean, again, it's named, it's titled for a reason, separately, distinctually, because of that. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna be like, oh, well, we're gonna say that his reflex and his thing is gonna name. No, it's like giving Wolverine it's like it's named for a reason, and to say that it's assumed, I cannot say, well, okay, well, fine.
I mean,
just can't
granted,
do
when
it.
it comes to comic book logic, everything is generally assumed because a lot of it's made up. A lot of it's unrealistic. So when it comes to them not even saying spider sense, is actually being more realistic, where he just has actual good insect reflexes. They don't actually have to include the spider sense as a power because, like I said, they're paying homage to the second comic where he didn't really have spider sense yet when he fought the Vulture. He was getting snuck up all the time against the Vulture where his spider sense hadn't been developed.
Okay.
So for them to not mention it is literally following the second comic.
Okay,
fair enough.
Okay, that I can be with.
For that reference alone, that's it. Other than that,
I can be with.
he better.
That's fine.
Other than that, I understand.
Like I said, the really
shake
biggest
you around.
problem is that they were too reliant on the suit. But as it goes for
Yeah.
Spider-Man itself, all the scenes where he was just Spider-Man without using the suit was correct. That was done appropriately. It's just it was too much suit and gadgets that
Did
took
you even
away
think
from
about
him.
it?
That
Yeah,
it took
I
away
agree.
from what made Spider-Man Spider-Man. That was the biggest killer.
Also, oh my gosh, there's one part that came to mind. I can't think of it right now. Oh my gosh, what did he do that was annoying? We listed so many annoying things. I'm like losing track of them. Oh, I lost my track of thought, but carry on. The thing about Spider-Man Homecoming is that Tony Stark heavy and whatnot, and I could have done without him. He could have really been written out. It was just really annoying. And the one part that really bothered me is the boat scene. It was cool and all, but with the way he came in, he's like, yeah, I was talking to the FBI. What are you doing here?
Mm-hmm.
Why didn't you just talk to why didn't you talk to the
why
kid?
didn't you tell him? That was where I was standing.
You
That's
can
my
pop
problem
in
with that.
anytime you want to, right? You have trackings on him. You could have told me, you know what? Peter, stand down. We have taken care of. Don't just like let him.
Especially because he took the tracker out and he took the baby. Like, those are things that Tony should have known. So it's like, okay, he's up to something. Let me actually go there
Let me
before
go
he does
find
something
him for some
crazy.
exactly.
Yeah. It was like, why would you show up after shit already hit the fan?
Because he's
It was like
kind of
that was really that
That's
was my
annoying.
biggest problem. Like, him being on a boat scene made sense, but the fact that he showed up so damn late is what bothered me.
Facts.
And then you scolded the kid for doing something that he was
Hard.
gonna impulsively do because you kept ignoring his warnings. Like, you didn't tell him that I got it covered. You could have sent him a freaking text message. You could have had an automated system today. There's so many things that Tony Stark had. He was talking to him through an Iron Man suit through glasses at an Indian wedding. You mean to tell me you couldn't send him a text message saying I got it covered?
I got it handled. That's it. But you could speak to him through your glasses, though.
That's what I'm saying. That's what was bothering. It was unrealistic moments that dealt with Tony Stark, and that's what was the biggest killer. He became too reliant on the whole
condescending
Iron Man aspect. It was too overshadowing what Peter Parker is supposed to be, what Spider-Man is supposed to be.
Right. Also, in Peter Parker's defense, he's a very strong Spider-Man. Like, he is ridiculously strong.
Which is fine.
Boy didn't even bleed. Like,
He bled. He took a beating.
A tiny little.
Oh no, he took a beating in
He
the
took
last
a
Vulture
beating.
fight.
Okay, the Vulture gave it to him, but all those other hits he was taking. I mean, the guy got trapped underneath the entire building.
Oh, but
Which is
I
fine.
explained the spider body though.
True, and I'm just like, this kid is. I mean, think about all the Spider-Mans we've seen so far. I think in the fight, this Spider-Man will beat the crap out of the rest of the Spider-Mans.
Oh,
I wouldn't
It's
say
over.
that.
It's done.
I
Oh,
wouldn't
are
say
you
that
serious?
because I still think that stopping a moving train at full speed.
Oh no, Toby's the OP.
I'm sorry.
But then again, he's seasoned as shit though.
I'm sorry.
He's seasoned as hell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's and the
That
matter of
was
fact that he's older, but I think this one would put up work.
If he got to the same age, yeah. If he,
Yeah, to
when,
s-
he, when he was like, if
age
he hit
him?
like 19, then he stopping trains with his bare dick. Like he'll be fine.
Facts. It's true because this kid was strong for 15 and
Yeah.
just getting really his powers. You know what I mean? If you really
Yeah,
think about
that's
it.
why I accept the stupidness of him. I accept the irresponsibility. And it's my
Too
like I
much
said, the only
power.
thing I didn't like was the whole Stark Foundation was the problem of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Everything we didn't plan on was a Stark Foundation. The suit, Happy, Tony Stark himself, like all of that entire storyline dragged the movie down. It made sense to put it in the MCU, but it was overshadowing this actor's solo movie.
Right.
It overshadowed
Our
him too
fears
tough.
came
And he
to true.
had plenty of characters. Flash Thompson, total dick. We had
Right.
MJ, Michelle, she was so cute and I freaking love her. Ned, hilariously nerdy, that's making Peter Parker seem like a nerd because that's where Andrew Garfield felt as Peter Parker because he was a funny Spider-Man, but he was way too cool in
Photographer.
school. You know, he was too cool. He didn't seem nerdy or socially awkward in the least bit. They're like his high school life. That's like if they did some Breakfast Club like that more often and left out him. Stark internship. Like, cut some of that out. Just shave a little of that off. Let him try to solve. Like, I would have preferred it if he had the suit without the tech. Tony Stark checks up on him weekly instead with like a text message. Okay, what did you do this week? Blah blah. And then him hiding it from Stark, and then trying to. That would have been a better drama. Whereas like him hiding that he found a show instead of, hey, come help. This is going on. Instead of being like, oh no, I'm good. I gotta cover it. I'm just helping ladies cross the street. When in actuality, he's trapped in a factory around like alien weapons. And then when he's on the boat and Tony Stark just so happened to be texting him, hitting him up like, yo, why aren't you replying? You was hitting me up all,
Now
you were
you quit.
begging for me. Now you're okay. Let me check up on you. Tracker. What is he doing in the middle of the ocean? Blah blah blah. Then, like I said, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. should have been involved. They didn't have to drop down character faces, but actual S.H.I.E.L.D. agents could have been there. And, hey, Spider-Boy is doing something. Didn't you hook up with him during the plane out in whatever country they were in with Cap? What do you mean he's on his boat? Hold on, going there right now. Then he shows up. Oh, yeah, I found it. Then he could have had the right to scold him. Then he would have the right. I don't like the fact that he was being fed the play-by-play throughout the movie and still came in with his dick out and his
It's funny. It's funny how you
That's
said
actually a way better story than what they gave us.
It's funny how you said I should have Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but that's just to show you that he wasn't even worth it.
Yeah,
They sent FBI
yeah.
engines because it wasn't even worth it. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. His thing wasn't even worth it.
According to Tony. Right?
Yeah, he was
foul.
compared to the Jessica Jones, the Duke,
He's not.
the Luke Cages, Daredevil type of thing, where Spider-Man is
He's
above them,
not.
but he's
Because he's a kid. He's
So
a
he's a
rookie.
kid.
They're treating him less.
But do you realize how powerful Peter Parker is?
Spider-Man in general is
But-
like one of the most
but-
overpowered characters
You
in
treat
comic
him like
books.
he's just some low-level metahuman.
This is the beginning.
Again,
though.
yeah.
True.
He's a
'Cause we know Peter can
Correction, he's a 15-year-old kid.
be, right? We know he can be, so that's why it's hard to see him get pushed in around like this. It's kind of like, what? I was expecting him to be a little tougher. You know what I mean? A little bit more, not necessarily mature because he's still a kid, but a little more aggressive. You know what I mean? And not taking Tony's crap every because
He realized at the end of the movie.
way at the end that he's being used because Tony looked like a real
But
opportunist.
that's literally what Tony Stark's character is.
He's
I mean, hence how
opportunist.
Civil Wars start in the comic books themselves. Tony Stark is just kind of a dick.
An opportunist.
It's even like what the
Yeah.
Vulture said. He's like, I mean,
The rich and
you're getting mad
powerful.
at me because I'm selling weapons, but your idol Tony Stark did the exact same thing to get where he is today.
And he sold you.
Like legit, and it's funny because they pay a lot of homage to the original Vulture too, because like he lives and he goes to prison. He's a low grade hero, but he's not really out to kill. And it's
Right.
funny because when he he lets him live, he goes to jail, and he even still hides Parker's identity.
That blew my mind that he could have just ratted him out right then and there just to create another conflict for the next movie. But he was like, you know what? If I'm going to kill him, it's going to be me. I'm not telling you his name.
Yep.
I'm going to wait until I'm out of here and then we'll finish business.
Michael
'Cause
Keaton still got it. He
Yeah,
still
he's-
has it.
I got to give it to him. He had that really sinister smile. When he's in the car and stuff. He's like, oh, so,
Paige, when he
ooh.
grabbed the gun and leaned on the seat, I'm like, yo, this is some daddy prom. And it's funny because that was actually an issue going on with kids going to prom and like the fathers were holding guns to this
Yeah.
the dudes. Like that's pretty ironic. And he
Now,
did
speaking
that.
of which, I don't
Peter
want
really sold himself out on that scene. Him, that squeaky voice of his.
Mhm.
He's like, wait, I've
Oh,
heard this
goodness.
voice before.
Yeah.
And he put two together.
Or the interrogation mode.
And, yo, for
That was-
real.
Yo, Donald Glover.
Oh, he was so His
Yo,
eyes
what-
are so
Isn't he
low.
in Black Panther? I think he's gonna be in Black Panther.
Donald
I
Glover in that too?
I kind of saw him in because I saw that was one of the
don't think
trailers
so.
was
I
in Black
don't
Panther.
think so.
I think it's Michael B. Jordan you might be thinking
I
about.
think so. Yeah. Speaking of the trailers, I want to switch gears here. Finally saw the trailer for Dark Tower,
Yeah.
Gunsling, which I have yet to see, and I
Uh-huh.
saw it before the whole Spider-Man movie with this guy
Idris Elba.
Yeah. Did you guys were you guys able to see the? Because I didn't know the trailer was even out.
I saw it on TV randomly, and I don't even watch
Really?
TV that much. And it just came on. I'm like, oh, this looks cool.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm surprised it didn't have the Marvel standpoint on it. When it came on, it was just Stephen King, and there was no Marvel standpoint. It's a Marvel comic book, but that's for another time. But yeah, so okay, Batarangs, because we're on great for time.
Are we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow, look
So,
at that. All right.
LaBeouf. 1 out of 10.
All right. I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10 batarangs, and I would have given it lower, but I knew this was gonna happen. I knew this was
Okay.
gonna be scene stealers from Tony. I knew it was gonna be a childish 15-year-old, so I would have given it lower had I not known that. But being that I know, I came and I was like, you know what? Let it slide. This was an enjoyable ride, so I enjoyed my way through it, and it was fine. So 8 out of 10
8
for
out
me.
of 10. Okay. Ace up.
You first.
Oh no, I went first before. This is your turn.
No.
Go right ahead.
Are we just gonna do
Oh
this
no,
a
no,
standoff?
no, I what's the thing? I went first last time, so by all means,
No.
I gotta hear this.
This is my gripe. Batman's your favorite. Spidey's my favorite.
Oh, okay, fine, fair enough. I'll give it a 6.
Ooh.
6 out of 10. I give it a 6 out of 10. Because there's everything that Aesop said, which makes sense. It just that all could have been eliminated with the whole 15-year-old that type of thing. You know, yeah. We all and I know Aesop hated the whole the Spider-Man cartoon that we grew up with, but it's what I grew up with. And I read some of the comic book Spider-Man comics. I read some Superior Spider-Man. I read some Dying Wish. I read some before. I read some new Marvel Spider-Man, and yeah, they were taking a lot of stuff from different points of Spider-Man, even with the issues with Vulture and all. But right now, they're gonna look for this. They're gonna be looking for a 15-year-old Spider-Man in the comic books, and Marvel's gonna change that up completely. I already see in the horizon, which is nothing bad to it. Don't get me wrong, do whatever sells. But it's just it doesn't. I guess because I'm a new kid on the block.
More of a personal point.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah,
personal
it's
point.
getting personal.
Yeah, because I'm a new kid on the block, and I'm attached to this post and precursor Superior Spider-Man, or to what I grew up
remember,
with.
there's also other cartoon renditions where the
Yes.
same person. Hence why he gets along with Deadpool because of that immaturity.
Right.
There's a lot of different versions of Spider-Man where he has that immaturity regardless of age. Him being a 15-year-old is the excuse for it. There are Spider-Men who are college students who still act like a fool.
But they're not canon
No, they are.
now.
Yeah.
Even
They've
now,
been- yes.
even with the spectacular Peter Parker now, I highly doubt that. Even in this day right now,
Yes.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, Spider-Verse kind of points that out too.
Well, no, Spider-Verse, yeah,
Spider-Verse is
that I
an
understand
whole
because
event.
I mean, come on, that's an entire event. We have different type. That I understand. I'm talking about like the Spider-Man now in the canon. I mean, take it what you will
Earth
because
616.
right.
Peter
We're taking
Parker.
what you because we can always say that there's different versions of Batman, Spider-Man, Superman. By all means, there's not a definitive right Spider-Man, right? But there's
Yeah.
always there's always a line that
You
you
don't
call
really
this
cross.
is the canon Spider-Man that we all know. I don't know. I just personally speaking, I feel like this was it was just taking what we knew of Spider-Man and just make them even more relatable and put them into a high school setting. It's just like, all right. I mean, it's cool. It works, but nah, it's not
6 batarangs out of 10.
6 out of 10. 6
Have you
out
given
of 10.
anything that low on
Never,
this show?
never.
Wow.
I've never. I don't think I have.
I don't think you have
Excluding
either.
Suicide Squad.
I think we all were just like.
Did I? I think I did 6, right? 6 for Suicide Squad.
Then like a 4 or something.
You
Did
did
I
something
really?
disrespectfully low.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
the more I kept seeing it, the worse it got.
Yeah, it did not. It aged like bananas.
Yeah, I think the more I think the more I watch Spider-Man, it'll get better. I think it'll get. It would have been like a BVS for me, but there's just nothing in this movie that made me like, that's awesome. Like, oh, there's just nothing in this movie
You'll
that just
probably
like
hate it more watching.
yeah,
it,
except the
you'll
vulture.
start realizing
the vulture.
how little of Spider-Man we got and how much Stark Enterprises we got.
I mean, that's just that's a little point of it for me. You know, that's another thing I called it from the very trailer. Like, you know, maybe that's the problem. Maybe it's because that's what
you were hoping to be surprised that you would be wrong.
Right.
You didn't want to get Fast and Furious.
Mm-hmm. So I give it a 6.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed I hated the hopelessness of Spider-Man. I did, you know, because he was. I feel like when he was yelling out, "Help me!" he was yelling out to Tony Stark. You know, it was like, are you yelling to Tony Stark because you're wearing like I don't understand, like that's what I felt like he was doing, and it was like, yeah, because the whole Tony stole the show.
Yeah, it was the biggest killer.
Yeah, everything around Spider-Man was just like, no. So that's why I give it a 6 out of 10. It's like the Richard Batman. Batman was horrible. Everything about Batman was amazing. This one is everything. It's just Spider-Man himself and everything around. But the fight scenes are cool because it's something that I would see Spider-Man do. The aerial fight scenes, you know. But it's just saying that, you know, it's like, okay, fight scenes are cool. At this point, any fight scene can be cool in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
But there's something about Spider-Man that you just can't.
Andrew Garfield did the best fight scenes. I'm sorry, when he was fighting the Croc.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta watch that again.
The Lizard Man,
first Amazing
he
Spider-Man.
literally wrapped him up like it was literally like a spider fighting a lizard. It was creepy how they did that scene. It was great.
But
so my rating, I'm gonna give it 5 spider eggs out of 10.
5?
Yeah.
Lower than mine?
It's a 5. It would have been 7 if there were no Tony Starkish.
Wow. That makes me want to put it to 4 because I think mine should have been lower than his. I honestly think
only because
mine should have been lower than his.
Legit knew every source they were pulling from, and it was executed poorly because it was like with Ghost in the Shell. They got lost in what they were trying to blend. You had all these different mediums put together, and some things just don't work together. You can't
oil and water.
You can't have a rookie be the Iron Spider-Man one and the same. Wow. You can't Iron Spider because they even did it in the cartoon where they had Rookie being Iron Spider and the same problems happened. But that was just an episode. You know, he just got involved with Dr. Doom and all. Like, it blew out of proportion. Captain America had to get involved, but it was just like it was 2 episodes. I'm sorry, it was 2 episodes. So that was cool and all, but you don't give me a 3-hour movie on Iron Spider-Man but not knowing the controls.
Do you feel like had I read more Spidey? Because I've read some Spidey. I've read Amazing Spider-Man. I've read this kind of stuff. More of it. Think my rating would have been lower?
I think
probably.
I don't. You know, the thing about it is that it just depends because I think because you would read more Spider-Man and you're gonna find out the different variations of Spider-Man, and then you're gonna have to choose. Like, all right, so which one do I want to choose? Yeah. And then I can base off. That's the thing about me.
It's all a personal point what you were making, but when I'm going by based on because I'm not doing a personal point. No, it's all hardcore. Hence, I even dropped the accent. It's all facts on. This came from this source. This came from that source. That came from this source, and they put it together, and it didn't blend properly. It was a decent movie overall. Like if I was just some like goofy moviegoer, like because I love Marvel movies. I like Tony Stark. I like the Iron Man. Ooh, Spider-Man. I've seen his movies before. This is even cooler because he's all souped up and high tech. And then me, whose favorite character is Spider-Man, hence why I climb shit in real life. You know, that's not a Spider-Man movie. It's not. That's an Iron Spider-Man movie. This is something like him dealing with the tech should have been like after he's already established himself and he's going against heavier hitters. He shouldn't be going against a bank robber with Iron Spider-Man rookie take.
Right, because correct me if I'm incorrect. You know, he doesn't really link up with Tony Stark until he's like 30 or something like that. Like he's a grown man by the time he links up with Tony.
He's well established as Spider-Man.
He's known as Spidey in New York City. Like he's like famous as Spider-Man.
Exactly.
At this
He's
point.
actually he's not. I mean, hell, he doesn't even have his vigilante issues yet. He hasn't even dealt with a Bugle yet.
Right.
He's not supposed to know Tony until he's dealt with Venom.
Oh, he's already dealt with the heavy hitters in his little
he's
realm
supposed to deal
yet.
with the hitters. Hence why once he hooks up with Tony, he's trying to become an Avenger. So Tony still puts him through a test. Cap puts him through a test. Iron Spider suit is the test. Like all these tests is just what he does get, but he doesn't get this when he's still fresh out the womb.
Yeah, he's baby.
And even more annoying, it's bad enough that his friend found out about him. Obviously, MJ's gonna find out because the girl's freaking broken.
Yeah,
but they in the movie with Aunt May seeing him put on the suit. So it's like how many people like they bash Andrew Garfield about taking off the mask so much in a movie. At least he took it off to total strangers who don't know his name, weren't gonna remember him. These are legit people who know him in life, all know his identity. We have an enemy knowing him. You have your best friend knowing you. You have your parent guardian knowing you. You have Tony Stark who doesn't care about secret identities knowing you.
What was the point of an identity if you weren't going to protect it?
You know, Andrew Garfield caught a lot of flack because he kept taking off the mask. Okay.
To 8 million people in New York City?
Okay, you have the shocker going to your school who attacked you when you walked out the back door. Who knows who you are?
That's a shame. That's a shame.
In one movie, we had, like, excluding Tony Stark, obviously, but like, you have a good 5 people who are clearly, if not going to find out, clearly know who you are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's why it's a 5.
Dang. I didn't even think about that until you brought it up, his identity issues, because I was going to let that one go.
Because that's why it would be a 7 if it wasn't for Stark Tech.
Ooh, yeah. I can see you bumping it up if it wasn't for Stark internship.
We saw it in the trailer, and I was expecting them to not do that because I kept making fun of Fast and the Furious doing that. I made fun of BVS for doing that. Don't put your movie in a trailer because then we going in there expecting something more than that, and you give us less than that.
I did expect more. I thought, you know what, maybe they're faking us out. Maybe it's just for the trailer they showed.
Because the scenes that they showed in the trailers, some of the scenes weren't even in the movie, but yet the problem that the insinuation that the trailers gave us still ended up coming to play anyway.
Yeah. That could have done out because all the Spider-Man movies, and I'm not a big Spider-Man buff, but I do like the occasional, read
Every
here and
movie
there.
was fine except Venom.
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Because we had Green Goblin was solid. Octopus is by far the best of all.
To this day.
To this day, the best of all. If I was to put it in an order, I would say Doc Ock. Like my top 3 is Doc Ock, Amazing Spider-Man 1 and 2, because Fox Jamie, I love him.
Yeah.
So those will be my top 3. I guess I don't know. I guess I'll put Fox Jamie and original Toby neck and neck, and then I will put this one after that. That comes in like 4th place.
Ooh.
It would be 5th if I could decide between the other 2.
I see. Wow.
Okay.
So we got at 8 due to just ignorance, 5 due to personal stuff, and then
He was 6. I was 5.
6 and 5.
Me 5, cutting off my personal points. A lot of it's still salt though because Spider is my favorite.
That's your boy.
I wanted to see a Spider-Man movie, not an Iron Spider-Man rookie.
That's weird, right? Iron Spider-Man supposed to be like pro level.
He's still pro level. He's borderline going into Superior Spider because you have Dr. Octavius with his used to using his tentacle. He's used to his tentacle arms, so being Iron Spider suit legs. Like, it's his bread and butter. He's already used to that kind of movement. That weight shifting because you got to think of how the body operates. To get used to that kind of body takes practice, and he was already used to that. So it made I felt a lot of it's like they're rushing it is what it feels like.
Yeah, you're like there's no need like
I mean there kind of is.
I guess there
MCU's
is
coming
like
to a close. They're getting to Infinity War very soon.
So they feel like they have to rush Homecoming.
So if they're gonna put Spider-Man in it, I mean, hey, one good thing about it is Hugh Jackman said he'll only do Wolverine again if it's in a Marvel movie.
Cinematic universe movie.
Of course,
yeah, not like a
You're not just a one-off like an
Deadpool wants it.
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman wants it. I mean, he himself wants it. Who else wants it? Yeah.
Ain't that something?
And I don't know. I mean, Infinity Wars is coming soon, but it's still miles away because I heard there was a Phase 4.
So I hear.
And then they're gonna combine the movies with the shows at one point with Jessica Jones and Daredevil, which I think that's gonna be great.
I think that's gonna be the send off. I think.
Yep.
I think that's gonna be it because there's no other place to go at this point. Once after Infinity Wars, where are you gonna go?
Because Thanos is the big baddie, unless they're gonna throw Dormammu in here or Galactus, which is God bless you.
Bigger than,
I mean, Dormammu's already been
but he
previewed.
But Dormammu kind of sits in his own planes with the Mystics. It's like.
What's the Avengers gonna do?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, what better place than...
That's when Doctor Strange comes in. Yeah.
Doctor Strange, Scarlet, Thor. He can literally go anywhere, which just makes him so broken.
So I feel like they're writing themselves in the corner at this point.
No, they're writing themselves not in the corner. They're writing themselves to a finish.
To a finish. Yeah. Well, yeah. There's a finish. They're like, okay, well, this is it. Adios. We're done.
Time.
Then they're moving on to Inhumans, Marvel Inhumans, and stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think this is finishing anytime soon. Like, especially with the
TV series.
Well, I see the TV series are going to keep going, but the movies themselves are coming to an end.
Yeah,
that's what they're writing the movies to an end while still introducing new movie actors, so they can still run the genre on its own without it being like Avengers. Like, okay, here's just another movie of this character. It's just under Marvel's name. We'll stop seeing it as the Marvel's name. Oh, maybe they'll meet Thor. Maybe no. We wrap that up. This is just their standalone movies again.
Right. And DC's just getting kicked off. It's just starting. That's crazy. They're just getting started.
Which is good, I think.
And Marvel's already on the way out.
Well, no, which is good and bad. I mean, it's good and bad because it gives them
double-edged sword.
it gives them that spotlight.
The spotlight, but here's the worst thing about
Exhaustion.
that spotlight. That spotlight gonna feel real lonely when hero fatigue sets in on everybody.
Right.
Because it settled in on us already.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
we watch
But
our
I mean-
obligation at this point.
But I mean, that's true. But I'm thinking about it because it's like, how can I put this? It's hero fatigue, because we've seen the same heroes
It's gonna
over
be
and
like the
over again.
vampire trend, the zombie trend. Here's a hero trend. They're going to die.
Right. But the thing is,
Marvel wants to cash its coins out before it's too late.
right now again, I think for me the hero fatigue is coming in only because of the same heroes. Captain America's.
True, we get some new faces.
But guess what? If we see like a Dead Man Boston movie, don't you think people? I mean, those who know, of course, of who he is, people will get on that.
Yeah. If it's something like
So-
hence how Blade ran so strong and no one knew he was a
Yep.
Marvel character, you feel me? Like
Yep.
if you run some faces who people don't really know, hence why they introduced Vulture because they wanted to pay homage. That's how you get people to watch it. Who's this guy? And then you start looking up background stories like, oh, he was in a cartoon. Oh, he was in this book. He's not that big. No wonder why they started off with a kid with him because he's not that big of a threat.
So if DC plays their cards right, they can get this good spotlight, not the negative one that Marvel has established, and is just whaming the hell out of it.
Yeah, they're running into the ground mostly,
Mhm.
and they don't want to people to get tired of them yet. They want to be out, and then you guys can get tired of superhero
It's
movies.
been over 10 years now.
Yeah,
Just about 10 years. Yeah.
You remember what Happy said? He said, "I've been holding on to this ring since 2008."
Literally.
Facts. That's a horrifying.
Is that what, Iron Man 2, 3?
One. This first one came out in 2008.
Holy, I was a junior. That's right. Oh my, I gotta see that again. I gotta see.
That was the
Iron Man
first one I really watched. That was like that set up the Marvel universe.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
sat
Yeah,
there
really
and watched,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh, this is amazing. This is
It's
cool.
a really, really good movie. I
10
still think
years
that's probably one of the
later.
best Marvel movies.
They're also thinking on adding the Blade in there.
I've
I mean,
heard.
they're not gonna use Wesley Snipes,
Can't,
obviously.
yeah. Mhm.
Obviously,
Would be
but-
nice, but
but it's not gonna happen. It's another Spider-Man thing all over again. They can't
they
do
gotta
that.
get a new face. That'll be,
Yeah.
I'm interested in Blade. Obviously,
He's gonna appear. He has
to.
to appear in Spider-Man,
Oh
Yep.
man, that's gonna be cool.
Chasing Mobius, most likely.
most likely. But all right, well, this is
Mobius.
we pretty much
Yeah.
reached the ending of our show. All right, well, going down the same line, I'd like to shout out Speaking on Radio, Villainy Games, Jessica Lynn.
Mm-hmm.
There you go, Jessica Lynn. Real Shit Talkers, OTR podcast. If you guys have no idea what the hell I'm talking about, is other podcasts in this platform, which is the Speaking on Radio platform. It has everything that you want: games, wrestling, comic books, and movies. Anything you want, it's on Speaking on Radio, the platform that it's pretty much the land of opportunity. Let me not, quote unquote. SmackDown has that already slogan packed down. So, but yeah. So, any other shout outs that you guys wanna?
No, I think you covered it.
Did I?
You covered with House of Fang as well.
House of Fang, Christopher Williams, another member of the Dark Hour.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just about it.
I don't think I missed. Oh yeah, shout out to Fortress Solitude, in Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to Joker's Child in Fair Lawn, New Jersey. Places that we frequent.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Okay, so if that's nothing else, we'll be here next week, same time, same place, same day. Okay, guys. Well, as the sun set on this mortal world.
As usual, guys, if you like this podcast, be sure to hit that like button. Leave us a comment what you'd like to hear us talk about in our next video. This is Aesop the Alchemist.
TL above.
Josh Rockstar.
And we'll get back to you guys later. Cheers.